Good morning to all of you. Once again, we are back. Now that BARC has already announced the shortlist, I don't have the cutoff scores of the different branches. I have the information related to mechanical branch. In case any of you have downloaded your call letter, you can update it in the chat box. That will be really nice of you. Now, once you have the call, what next? That is the big question all of you are faced with. Today we will try to take a look at what is the need for what type of preparation. Remember that BARC interview is not like the conventional PSU or UPSC interview. It's a lot different. We will try to go through the modalities in a brief way only. Obviously, it will not be a detailed technical session. But in addition to talking about the various subjects and the possible approach or the modalities with which they conduct the interview, we will also take a look at what is the extent of competition that you face. See, lot of information is floating around on the web. Some to be believed, some to be discounted. I have tried to present the information based on factual feedbacks so that you get a reasonably good idea about what are you likely to be facing and what is it that BARC looks for you. What kind of approach are they looking for? I am also going to be discussing one more very important part. I am sure some of you might have taken admission or are aspiring to join MTech. Now, if you have got selected or if you are likely to get selected for MTech courses in two of the IITs, one is IIT Bombay and the second is IIT Madras, then try to focus on a select few courses only, and this is applicable for the students of electrical, electronics, instrumentation, mechanical and civil, as well as computer science branch, all the 6 branches that we are talking about, right? I am not talking about any other branches. I am only going to be talking about these 6 branches. The reason is that if you get selected in BARC, you have the option of either opting for a 1-year training course, that is the OCES. The other option is that you can join a 2 years training course, which is DGFS. I am not getting into the full forms, right? The difference between the two is OCES is a 1-year training course which is conducted at different centers. In fact, earlier all the training programs used to be conducted at BARC Bombay only, right, Anushakti Nagar. But now they are directly posting you to the respective locations, branch wise. Of course, it is branch wise. So accordingly, they are looking at some of these things. Now, I was talking about DGFS. When we talk about DGFS, it's a 2-year training program and it is a sponsored MTech course. See, whatever admission you have taken in IIT Bombay or in IIT Madras for the list of courses which I am going to be talking in a while, BARC will foot the bill. They will pay the entire fees, and in addition to that you will get the stipend also, right? The only difference is that for the final year thesis work, instead of having one project guide from the IIT faculty, there will be 2 project guides. The second project guide will be nominated by BARC, and naturally the topic of thesis will also be decided in consultation with your mentor from BARC. But as I said, you get the advantage of a 2 years MTech from IIT, full fee paid. You are actually joining as a sponsored candidate, sponsored by Department of Atomic Energy through BARC, right? So that is a big time advantage. And plus, if you are an MTech from IIT and you are a member of the BARC team, there is a little faster growth curve that you move on to. You get a few extra increments when you join after completing your DGFS 2 years course. These are some of the additional advantages that you will end up getting. But of course, you have to, in case you don't complete the service bond, you have to make the payment of the entire dues. The entire salary that has been received by you plus the fees that has been paid to the respective IITs, all that has to be refunded back. But that's besides the point, because once you join with some clear-cut thought in your mind, and you end up actually making the best use of this opportunity. So we will take a look at the institute and MTech course combination. That is important. I'll also try to give you an insight into the degree of competition that you are facing, which means during the last 4-5 years, what has been the number of selections that BARC has been doing based on the number of calls. In fact, in one of the sessions I had probably shared with you, in one particular year for instrumentation, they had shortlisted 105 candidates, 105, and they selected only 3. Why they select only 3? There is no fixed number of vacancies. You see, unlike in most of the other PSUs, जहाँ पे वो नंबर ऑफ वैकेंसीज डिक्लेयर करते हैं, इलेक्ट्रिकल की इतनी है, सिविल की इतनी है, मैकेनिकल की इतनी है, इलेक्ट्रॉनिक्स की इतनी है, एटसेट्रा एटसेट्रा. In BARC, you will never notice that they advertise the number of vacancies. They have a gross number in mind, maybe 200 every year they take for all the disciplines put together. Since our discussion is going to be restricted to these 6 branches, so we will only make a comparison of the numbers for these 6 branches, right? But this number of final selections keeps varying from year to year. There is no fixed number. And the reason why there is no fixed number is, in case they don't get a candidate who is meeting their benchmark for selection, they will not recruit, they will not select. Even if it means only 3 selections out of 105 in instrumentation in the year, I think 2017, if I am not wrong, or the multiplier factor is as low as 1 out of 10. It rarely goes beyond 1 out of 10. It's higher than that only. Like in case of instrumentation, the worst example I have already given you, it's 1 out of 35. But of course, it is not as bad now. Things have improved. There is a better selection ratio. So let's take a look at it one by one now. And then of course, we will talk about the preferred subjects to be prepared in case you are shortlisted, what to prepare, the way in which the interview proceeds, and then some quick brief about the interview preparation itself. We will spend very little time on the interview preparation modalities because I will conduct one more session on that, and you can join. That will be an open session for everybody. Anybody can join this session. And as far as the offered course is concerned, yes, we will be offering a course also, interview guidance course for the aspirants of BARC interview. The details will be available on the MadeEasy website plus in all the Telegram groups. I would always suggest that you must join the MadeEasy official Telegram channel, and it will be really good. It will be really good because you will keep getting updated with the latest information, whether it is with regard to jobs, whether it is with regard to any program that we are running, any sessions that we are taking which can help you in cracking any of the interviews. All these aspects are getting covered by way of regular messages from time to time, right? Okay, somebody has given a feedback that for electrical the cutoff is 119 in the CBT and 720 is the gate score, right? Mechanical cutoff, somebody has said, is 89 in the written, and gate score, I have it, I'll update that also shortly, right? Okay. So let's move on from here. First, okay, let me first give you the list of courses which you should prefer for. Now, this is about mechanical engineering students. IIT Bombay and IIT Madras, as I said, are the two institutes where the approved courses are. Firstly, we talk about mechanical engineering. At IIT Bombay, thermal and fluid engineering and design engineering. These are the two courses which are on the approved list of courses for opting for DGFS. And at IIT Madras, it is thermal engineering and mechanical design. All these four courses are under the Department of Mechanical Engineering, and then there is another course on computational and experimental mechanics under the Department of Applied Mechanics. It's probably in IIT Madras. Just for your information, all this that I am talking about is available from page 34 to 39 of the information brochure of OCES and DGFS 2025. You can refer there. Otherwise, if you want, you can make a note of these courses for mechanical engineering. Very clearly, they have spelled out that the qualifying degree is BE, BTech, BSc Engineering in mechanical engineering, and the gate code is ME. No other branches are acceptable for these. Moving forward, if we talk about civil engineering, the BTech should be in civil engineering. The courses which are approved in the approved list, again institutes are IIT Bombay and IIT Madras only. For IIT Bombay, there are three courses, two under the Department of Civil Engineering and one under the Department of Environmental Science and Civil Engineering. Structural Engineering and Construction Technology and Management are the two courses under Civil Engineering at IIT Bombay. Geotechnical Engineering at IIT Madras. And finally, as far as Environmental Science and Civil Engineering is concerned, a course with the same designation, Environmental Science and Engineering at IIT Bombay, is also eligible for DGFS. No other courses at any other IIT would be considered for DGFS. Electrical and electronics, which means gate code is EE or gate code is EC. For these two gate codes, the qualifying degree, the list of qualifying degrees are very clearly mentioned. You can have a BTech in electronics engineering, you can have it in electrical engineering, you can have it in EC, electronics and telecommunication, electronics and controls, electrical and electronics, electronics and instrumentation. All these BTech degrees are eligible for OCES EE or OCES EC, but gate code is the one which is the limiting factor. A number of courses are available again at IIT Bombay and IIT Madras. At IIT Bombay, there are four courses. All these are the first list of courses under the Department of Electrical Engineering. We have Communication Engineering, Control and Computing, Electronic Systems and Integrated Circuits and Systems at IIT Bombay. For IIT Madras, we have three courses: Integrated Circuits and Systems, Communication and Signal Processing CSP, and Microelectronics and VLSI Design. There is a Microelectronics and VLSI Design in IIT Bombay also, but that does not come in the list. So we have four courses at IIT Bombay and three disciplines at IIT Madras. There are some more, we are going to take a look at that. Again, here the gate code can be EC or instrumentation. See, remember that these gate code limitations are guided by the admission criteria for the various IITs, that is IIT Bombay and IIT Madras in this case specifically. So at IIT Madras, two more courses are eligible. One is Electronic System Design and Instrumentation and the other one is Control and Optimization. Now in this case, the gate code is EC or IN. At IIT Madras, both these courses you can take admission based on gate code EC or IN score, right? Finally, we have another option. If your gate code is EE or EC or IN, then you are also open to an interdisciplinary group for system and control engineering at IIT Madras. This is a unique program. The name of the course is System and Control Engineering, and this is only at IIT Madras, right? Naturally, this one will have a relatively lesser cutoff. So, if you are toying with the idea of getting admission for MTech course and having the thought of going for a 2-year DGFS, obviously you can take a call based on these inputs. Next, we are talking about computer science. Gate code is CS. The core program at IIT Bombay is computer science and engineering under the department of computer science and engineering only. Naturally, this is the topmost. Then in case there is a gate code EC or CS, but you are having a qualifying degree in computer science, computer engineering, computer science and engineering, and a gate code of CS or EC, there is a course system and control engineering in IIT Madras, which again is possible to be taken. Same thing which I had covered in the previous slide. Now this is a fairly interesting slide. This is a fairly interesting slide. This will give you the degree of competition. So if you look at civil, we have the data for 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. Okay, I think let's skip that. Let's go only to 21, 22 and 23, 24. Let's only look at this. Let's only look at these 2 years. Civil, in 21, they finally offered to 15 candidates, and in 22 it was 10 candidates. The selection ratio is by far similar, 1 out of roughly 11, right? Computer science obviously faces a tough competition. 5 selections in 21, 5 selections in 22, and the selection ratio is approximately 1 out of 20. Electronics, they selected 20 candidates in 21, but they came down to 10 in 22, and the selection ratio in the year 22 for electronics was 1 out of 22. Electrical in that sense is a little more consistent, 21 selections in 21 and 19 in 22, with an approximate selection ratio of 1 out of 11 versus 1 out of 12 in the respective 2 years. Instrumentation, recruiting 5 each in 21 as well as 22. The selection ratio is 1 out of 15 and 1 out of 16 in the 2 years. Finally, mechanical, where we get the maximum number of calls, there were finally 45 selections in 21, 1 out of 15. There were 50 selections in 22, that makes it 1 out of 14. But let's also take a look at the last 2 years, right? Yes, here we are. In civil in 23, they finally selected 17 candidates. If you notice that the number for mechanical has gone down drastically to 35, whereas in 24 the number went up to 48. But the selection ratio has by far remained the same for mechanical, 1 out of 20. 1 out of 20. As far as instrumentation is concerned, I would say that the year 23 proved to be the best. Out of 35 candidates shortlisted for interview, there were 5 selections, making it 1 out of 7. I think that has been by far the best selection ratio that I have seen during the last 10 years. Last year it was approximately 1 out of 15, right? It was exactly 1 out of 15 because there were 10 calls and 10 final offers and 150 calls. Electrical had 22 selections, electronics had 21 selections last year, and as has been seen, electrical is a consistent 1 out of 11 and electronics is 1 out of 18, and here it is again more than, it's again 1 out of 21, right? Computer science, again I would say that last year was one of the better performing years, 13 final selections out of 153 calls, making it 1 out of 12, and earlier years we have seen 1 out of 20 on an average. Civil gives the best selection ratio, 7.3, that means 1 out of 7, 15 selections finally last year out of a total of 110 calls. This year's data is already available to you. You can make an assessment of what is likelihood of the competition that you are facing, right? Now we will take a look at, let me just take a look at some of the messages that you have sent. I hope I have been covering the reply to the messages. Okay, the mechanical gate cutoff is 743. Thank you. Subham, I am covering that also. I will be just covering that also. Before getting into the modalities of interview, I think it's important that we take a look at the subjects that we should prefer to prepare, right? The areas to be prepared obviously would be very good subject knowledge. An excellent subject knowledge is the most desirable part. And unlike your preparation for GATE or for any other exam, you will have to start from the basics. I will illustrate by way of one or two examples, right? You have to start from basics. That means do not straight away jump to the chapter 4 or chapter 5 of any subject. No, you have to have your fundamentals right. You have to have your fundamentals right, right? And prepare at least 4 subjects thoroughly. As a matter of fact, they ask you to write down the list of 4 subjects that you have prepared for this interview. See, typically speaking, BARC का interview जब start होता है, तो they want to put you at ease. And the panel size may be 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, कुछ भी हो सकता है. कोई जरूरी नहीं है कि भी 3 ही लोग होंगे पैनल में, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 कुछ भी हो सकता है. And you know, seniors keep moving in and out of the room. Somebody wants to have a cup of tea, he will go and sit in the interview panel room for his branch, because rounds of teas and coffees keep coming when the interview is going on. Obviously, they offer to the candidate also, and very politely you have to say, no sir, thank you very much. Don't accept the offer of drinking tea. You can have a glass of water which is kept for you, but avoid accepting the offer for having the cup of tea or coffee, right? Biscuit bhi offer karenge, mana kar dena. Prepare at least 4 subjects thoroughly, and when you write the names of the subjects, they will confine to the questions from those subjects only. They will not go beyond those 4 subjects. That has been the trend so far. That has been the trend so far, right? Or interview start करने से पहले, I mean, the chairman of the panel will usually put you at ease. I mean, he will probably start asking you, okay, where did you study? Where did you do your graduation? In which year? How was the course? How did COVID affect you? I mean, I am talking about typical conversation जो हो रही है. इसमें आपके आंसर्स आपकी सिलेक्शन या रिजेक्शन के ऊपर कोई भी बेयरिंग नहीं रखते. Answers to these preliminary set of questions do not have any bearing on your selection or non-selection. I am sorry, I should not use the word rejection. I don't use the word rejection, right? Hobbies will not have any role in your interview. They may ask you, अच्छा खाली टाइम में क्या करते हो? Movies देखना पसंद है? कौन सी movie देखी last? All this is being talked about with the objective of making you feel comfortable, removing any tensions from your mind. See, they are a very firm believer in one thing, और वो सही भी है. अगर आप टेंस होंगे तो अगर आपको क्वेश्चंस के आंसर्स आते भी होंगे तो भी आप नहीं दे पाएंगे. So you have to be with a perfectly relaxed mind in order to handle the easiest to the toughest questions. Because if your mind is all worked up, even the easiest questions you will start fumbling. फायदा नहीं है ना उस चीज का. So they also realize it that they want to bring out the best in you. They are not working towards bringing the worst in you. Remember that. So there is no stress interview in case of BARC. Never. I'll give you some previous examples also of a few things which you may be able to correlate, right? Somebody was asking project and training. If I tell you that there is 0 weightage of project and training, what will be your reaction? Believe me, in BARC interview, they seldom ask you about your project or your internship. और उसका एक ही कारण है, they realize that the project work by the students is rarely done diligently. I am using the word rarely. It may be getting done also, you may be exceptions, but they realize that during the last few years, most of the students have been indulging in beg, borrow or steal. Sorry to use the term, but पका पकाया माल खाने की आदत है, मेहनत नहीं करनी, क्योंकि उस समय आप ऑलरेडी अपने दूसरे एग्जाम्स की तैयारी में जुटे होते हो. तो प्रोजेक्ट इज द लीस्ट ऑफ प्रायोरिटीज. So that is why they don't indulge in wasting their time on asking you about project. Passing reference, they can ask you what was the title of your project. You can mention it. Same thing holds good for internship. Because 9 out of 10 students that I meet, if you talk about internship, सर वो तो मैनेज हो गया था, मैनेज हो गया था, मतलब एक सर्टिफिकेट मिल गया था that Mr. XYZ, a student of this class this year from this institute has satisfactorily completed his 3-week summer internship in our organization. During the period of internship, his conduct was very good. We wish him good luck. यार उसके नीचे लिखा होगा period of internship so and so, the key learning areas so and so. They don't go into the details of the internship. No, never. So if somebody is not having a good handle on project and internship knowledge, relax, BARC does not worry you, does not bother you about it. But हाँ, कम से कम टाइटल ऑफ द प्रोजेक्ट तुमको पता होना चाहिए. जिस ऑर्गेनाइजेशन में ट्रेनिंग के लिए गए थे उसका नाम जरूर पता होना चाहिए, कितने दिन या कितने वीक्स का ट्रेनिंग था वो जरूर पता होना चाहिए. बिकॉज यू कांट रिमेन साइलेंट. बिकॉज अगर आप साइलेंट रहोगे तो वो बोलेगा अच्छा हाँ हाँ ठीक है ठीक है ठीक है, पापा ने सर्टिफिकेट मैनेज कर दिया था, दैट्स ओके, लेट्स मूव ऑन. Nothing negative about it. Nothing negative about it. Right? Hobbies, I have already said, they will not bother. And don't bluff while answering. Don't bluff while answering. गलती से भी ब्लफिंग मत कर देना. अगर किसी क्वेश्चन का आंसर नहीं आता है, 2 सेकेंड का पॉज लो, सॉरी सर आई डोंट नो. इसको 3 तरीके से आप हैंडल कर सकते हो. पहला तरीका है सॉरी सर आई डोंट नो, स्ट्रेट अवे बोल दीजिए 2 सेकंड के पॉज के बाद. दूसरा तरीका, थोड़ा सा और प्रयास किया, 2 के बदले 4 सेकंड का पॉज ले लिया, सॉरी सर आई एम नॉट एबल टू रिकॉल, आई हैव स्टडीड बट आई एम नॉट एबल टू रिमेंबर इट. कोई दिक्कत नहीं है, कोई दिक्कत नहीं है, बट जेन्युइन केस में ही ऐसा करना, हर बार नौटंकी मत कर देना. राइट? बट आई डोंट नो सर कैन बी स्पोकन, देयर इज नो इशू. बट तुक्का लगा के गलत आंसर दोगे तो डैमेज इज वेरी हार्ड. So they will start losing interest in you, and they will rarely raise the barrier. They will rarely raise the barrier. I am using the term barrier because होता क्या है, they start asking. आपने 4 सब्जेक्ट्स के नाम बताए, वो चारों सब्जेक्ट से सवाल पूछेंगे एक एक करके. पहले एक सब्जेक्ट कवर करेंगे, उसके बाद दूसरा, उसके बाद तीसरा, उसके बाद चौथा. Typical duration for a BARC interview can run from 60 minutes to 120 minutes. That's the typical duration of a BARC interview. Be clear on that. Be clear on that. और एक चीज और हमेशा याद रखना, a short interview is not necessarily bad and a long interview is not necessarily good. My own example, I appeared for the interview of DRDO. It was in the final stage of our last semester. This was, I think if I remember the date correctly, it was 27th of May 1976. Our final year result had still not been declared. DRDO panel consisted of 12 members. The venue was the seminar room of IIT Delhi. All the candidates were called there only for the interview process. My interview lasted for about 50 minutes. There were no goodies that were exchanged. Good morning, and they straight away came to the subjects. 2-3 subjects they grilled. 50 मिनट तक ग्रिलिंग हुई. 12 लोगों का पैनल था, 5-6 लोग उसमें आर्मी यूनिफॉर्म में, 5-6-7 बाकी के लोग सिविलियन ड्रेस में. बट इट वॉज अ थॉरोली टेक्निकल इंटरव्यू. फॉर्चुनेटली आई गॉट सेलेक्टेड and the lab which was allotted to me was DLRL in Hyderabad. I didn't want to go there, I dropped that option, but the point is fully technical interview with no time wasted in exchange of any pleasantries. That's it. BARC, yes, they may waste 5 minutes on the pleasantries, but then the duration, as I have said, is 60 to 120 minutes. That's something which you can realize. The interview proceeds in a very, very congenial environment. They do not try to harass you. Nobody raises his voice. They'll keep giving you helpful hints. If they ask you a question and you start answering, you get stuck on a point, somebody will say, have a look at this aspect. And if your concept is clear, definitely the help which is coming to you, you will catch on and you will be able to proceed further with correct answers in the forward direction. And they will slowly start increasing the difficulty level. They will slowly start increasing the difficulty level of the questions. Level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4, level 5. And after that आप बोल सकते हो सर इसके beyond मेरा knowledge नहीं है. कोई दिक्कत नहीं, कोई दिक्कत नहीं. Acceptable, practical, no issues. But I keep warning time to time, don't bluff. फेंकना मत. That will be the biggest blunder you will be making, right? The areas which we have to prepare, they may ask you, because this is an anxiety in your mind. What if there is a big gap? See, the gap cannot be very big. The reason is there is an age limit. I think for general category it is 25 years. That means the maximum gap of 3 years can be there, and it can be increasing with the age limit relaxations for the other categories. But they don't bother you with the cause of gap. No, they don't bother you. This is very important. Don't try to boast about your knowledge. No, no. Remember, the people sitting opposite you have at least the number of years of your age as their experience, and they are hard-bred research scholars. So there is no point in boasting about your knowledge. No. There may be requirement of knowledge to go for important derivations. दो तरीके से इंटरव्यू चला है. I'll share both the modalities. There can be derivations. You may be asked to go for the derivations also. So pick up the important derivations of the subjects that you have identified. Right? Numerical solving nahi hoga. No. They will not ask you to solve numericals. They are not going to be providing you with the FX991. No. But theoretical discussion about a topic in the subjects is definitely required. I was talking about two modalities, two modes of the conduct of the interview. In the past, the entire interview used to be conducted using pencil and paper. That means in front of you there is a bunch of papers and a dozen freshly sharpened pencil with a eraser. जो भी क्वेश्चंस आपसे पूछे जाएंगे वो भी वो पेंसिल से ही लिख के आपको पेपर फॉरवर्ड करेंगे, एंड यू विल हैव टू एड्रेस your concerns, your replies, your discussion by writing on the paper only. Use eraser in case you have made a mistake. They will use an eraser in case they want to make a change in the difficulty of the problem, etc. So get used to writing using a normal pencil, not the mechanical pencil, but using a normal HB pencil. आपको अगर आदत नहीं होगी तो वहां जाके आप बार बार उसका लेड तोड़ना शुरू कर देंगे. फर्क नहीं पड़ता क्योंकि ऑलरेडी उन्होंने 10 पेंसिल्स 12 पेंसिल्स आपके लिए रखी हुई हैं शार्प करके. एंड आफ्टर एवरी राउंड अ फ्रेश बंच ऑफ पेंसिल्स विल कम एंड डॉन द टेबल. During COVID period or in the period immediately following COVID, they were not conducting using pencil and paper, but they asked you to go on the whiteboard. The whiteboard is kept at a convenient distance from the panel members, and they will keep on asking you questions and you will have to keep explaining it to them on the whiteboard, which means you need to get used to writing using the whiteboard marker. थोड़ी सी प्रैक्टिस हो जाएगा तो आपके लिए बेहतर होगा. राइट. बोथ दीज आर वेरी ट्रिवियल इनपुट्स, इनसिग्निफिकेंट इनपुट है, बट थोड़ा सा फर्क पड़ता है बेटा. आपके कॉन्फिडेंस के लिए इट वर्क्स, राइट. यहां पे मैंने लिखा है इंटरव्यू ड्यूरेशन में एक्सीड 45 मिनट्स, बट यस 60 to 120 is more like it. Nowadays what they are doing is they are not reimbursing you the fare in cash. See, in the earlier days what used to happen was they either used to issue a pink slip, or they used to issue a blue slip, or they used to issue no slip, which were indicative of the fact that you are shortlisted or you are not shortlisted. Either you are shortlisted or you are in the race for being shortlisted, और यू आर आउटराइटली रिजेक्टेड. बट आजकल ऐसा कुछ नहीं होता, आजकल ऐसा कुछ नहीं होता. यू हैव टू वेट फॉर द डिक्लेरेशन ऑफ द फाइनल रिजल्ट. सो दैट इज वन मेजर चेंज दैट हैज हैपेंड इन द BARC सिलेक्शन प्रोसेस, राइट. The final results will be declared on the date which they have announced, and in case there is a delay, they keep on updating it on the website. So please keep visiting the website for any updates regarding the selection process. Whether it is with regard to booking of the slots, I think booking of the slots would have started or is about to start. I'll talk about should you book early or should you book late, any of them, right. So we will keep looking at that also. So I hope this part is clear. I'll still talk about gap years, don't worry. I'll still address the anxiety about gap years. अगर आपसे पूछ लिया तो मैं क्या बोलूंगा, 4 साल का गैप क्यों है, तो क्या कहानी सुनाऊंगा. सिंपल स्टोरी है, स्टोरी नहीं है, फैक्चुअल स्टेटमेंट है. सर, आफ्टर कंप्लीटिंग माय बीटेक I started preparing for competitive exams like GATE and for other PSUs. Are you preparing for ESE? Yes sir, I have been appearing for ESE also. तो फिर ESE के ऊपर फोकस करो, यहां पे क्यों आए हो. सर, ESE एक ऐसा एग्जाम है जो कि हर साल रेगुलरिटी से होता है, and that is the only exam which gives me an indication. The result of that exam gives me an indication of my state of readiness vis-a-vis the competition that I face. GATE और ESE ये दो एग्जाम्स ऐसे हैं जो हर साल बिना ब्रेक के होते रहे हैं, और मेरे पास तो और कोई तरीका नहीं है अपने कंपैरेटिव परफॉर्मेंस को चेक करने का. So they are a good index of checking my performance. That is why I have been regularly appearing for it. Fair enough. GATE is important because BARC is shortlisting based on your GATE score, as well as they started conducting their own exam, that is to give you a second opportunity. हो सकता है गेट का एग्जाम आपका खराब हो गया हो, गेट में स्कोर कम आया हो, तो आपको एक और अपॉर्चुनिटी मिल गया ऑनलाइन एग्जाम के जरिए. डेट फिक्स करिए, ऑनलाइन एग्जाम दीजिए. दे विल कीप ऑन नॉर्मलाइजिंग द स्कोर्स इन द वेरियस सेशंस, एंड बेस्ड ऑन दैट दे विल do the shortlisting, and that is what they have been doing, and there has rarely been any bickering about it, right. We'll very quickly cover these aspects. ड्रेस नॉर्मल, आपको 3 पीस सूट पहन के जाने की जरूरत नहीं है, और टाई तो बिल्कुल मत पहन के जाना BARC के इंटरव्यू के लिए. स्टैंडर्ड नॉर्मल ड्रेस, प्लेन शर्ट, फुल स्लीव्स विद अ पॉकेट, डार्क कलर ट्राउजर्स, बेल्ट प्रेफर्ड, ब्लैक बेल्ट, लेदर बेल्ट प्रेफर्ड. स्पोर्ट्स शूज में जा सकते हो, अगर फॉर्मल शूज में जाओगे तो बेहतर है. टाई लगाने की कोई जरूरत नहीं है, टाई लगाने की कोई जरूरत नहीं है. कुछ लोगों की आदत होती है लंबा सा टीका लगा दिया, बेशक लगा के जाओ, कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ेगा इस इंटरव्यू में, बट अवॉइड करो, राइट. वॉच पहन के जा सकते हो, यूपीएससी में वॉच अलाउड नहीं है, बट वॉच जो भी पहनो ऐसी वॉच ना हो जिसके ऊपर कोई फंकी कैरेक्टर्स बने हो, नहीं. सेम वे फॉर द बेल्ट, यूज अ बेल्ट विद अ फॉर्मल बकल, नॉट समथिंग विद अ फ्लैशी पिक्चर, राइट. शूज आई हैव ऑलरेडी सेड, प्रेफर करो ब्लैक लेदर शूज विद लेसेस. अगर आपके पास ऑलरेडी डार्क टैन कलर के शूज हैं, विदाउट लेसेस हैं, कोई चिंता नहीं है, वही पहन के चले जाओ, कोई दिक्कत नहीं. बट थोड़ा वेल आयरन क्लोथ्स, हेयर नॉर्मली ट्रिम्ड, बहुत लंबे लंबे बालों के साथ मत चले जाना. स्कॉलर लुक देने के प्रिटेंशन से कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता उनको, दे आर नॉट अफेक्टेड बाय दिस, राइट. हैव अ बाथ, यू आर प्रोवाइडेड द अपॉर्चुनिटी ऑफ स्टेइंग इन द हॉस्टल फॉर अ डे. आपका मान लीजिए ट्यूसडे को इंटरव्यू है, यू कैन रीच ऑन मंडे इवनिंग, दे विल प्रोवाइड यू अ रूम ऑन अ शेयरिंग बेसिस, वेरी नॉमिनल चार्ज, एंड द एडवांटेज इज दैट इट इज जस्ट वॉकिंग जस्ट अक्रॉस द रोड फॉर द इंटरव्यू. you don't get late for reaching the venue of the interview. I think the interviews start at 8 o'clock in the morning, the first batch. The second batch is probably in the afternoon. In a day, a panel rarely crosses 6 or 7 interviews. फुर्सत में बैठे हैं सारे साइंटिस्ट लोग, इसलिए उनको भागने की जल्दी नहीं है, तुम्हारे को भी भागने की जल्दी नहीं होनी चाहिए. If you are planning to return the same evening, don't book an early flight or an early train. Try to book a flight or a train which is after 10 p.m. because the interviews have been known to go till 8 also. तो इसलिए जल्दी की ट्रेन या फ्लाइट मत बुक करना. Go for as late a booking as possible. इंपॉर्टेंट है, क्योंकि इन चीजों की वजह से आपने अपने माइंड के ऊपर प्रेशर नहीं डालना है, राइट? बिकॉज अ रिलैक्स्ड माइंड गिव्स द बेस्ट परफॉर्मेंस. यू मस्ट रिमेंबर दैट a relaxed mind is always giving you the best performance, and that is what we are here for. That is what we are wanting to take advantage of, right? Girls can dress in regular kurti chudidar or salwar kameez or whatever conventional dress. Avoid going in western formals. Avoid going in t-shirt jeans. फर्क नहीं पड़ता. I keep saying फर्क नहीं पड़ता, जैसे मर्जी ड्रेस करके जाओ, बट एक थोड़ा सा फॉर्मल लुक आना चाहिए. Don't use deo or perfume under any circumstances on the day of the interview, neither at BARC nor in any other interview. The reason is very clear. Some panel member may be allergic to the smell of deo or perfume, and the moment you enter the interview room, that person may walk out sneezing away to glory. You are missing on something. तो बेहतर यह है कि डीओ और परफ्यूम का यूज मत करिएगा. और बॉयज हाथों में 5 रिंग्स मत पहन के चले जाना. नो रिंग्स एट ऑल फॉर बॉयज, 1 ring maximum for girls. Small earrings can be used by girls, there is no problem. And avoid using high heels, right? Pastel shades of the dress are most welcome for girls. That's it. Sari pehno na pehno farak nahi padta, because it's not that formal an interview environment, right? Be relaxed. Language of your answers is immaterial. You can answer in Hindi, English, mix, कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता. But obviously, other than these, you cannot use any other language. You can't reply in Bangla or Tamil or Telugu or Kannada or Malayalam. No, that's not acceptable. Hindi, English mix, more than acceptable. There will be absolutely no objection from any panel member. In fact, if a panel member is not comfortable in Hindi, he is not going to ask you to explain again, but he is going to be asking one of his fellow co-panelists, asking him what did he say. And in case the question's reply that you are given is to be appreciated, he will actually go out of the way to appreciate you for this. It has happened in the past and can happen in your case also. So just be clear on these aspects, right? When you are entering the room, obviously the first thing that you would do is wish the panel. You can collectively wish the panel good morning sirs, good afternoon sirs, good evening sirs, or if there is a female member or if there are female members, good morning ma'ams, good morning sirs, कोई दिक्कत नहीं. बट एक टेंडेंसी मैंने देखी कुछ बच्चों में, मॉक इंटरव्यूज के लिए जो आते थे ना, अभी तो हम ऑनलाइन मॉक इंटरव्यूज ही करेंगे. सी somebody has entered, तो चेयर के पास पहुंच के ना विश करना तो भूल गए, तो कुर्सी की तरफ इशारे कर रहे हैं, कभी मैं बैठ जाऊं. डोंट वरी, दे विल आस्क यू टू सिट डाउन. आपको पनिशमेंट नहीं मिलेगी, अनलेस ऑफ कोर्स दे आर कंडक्टिंग द इंटरव्यू विद व्हाइट बोर्ड, in which case yes they will say okay yeah please have a seat, but you will be going to the whiteboard for all the discussion. Acceptable, वो तो कर सकते हैं, right? HR questions in this interview are least likely to be asked. They are very less likely to be asked. They are not going to ask you why do you want to join BARC. No, they will not ask you why is there so much of gap. They are not going to ask you why is your academic performance so inconsistent. ये सवाल नहीं पूछेंगे वो. I have already told you, they are looking for your technical knowledge. They are looking for your ability to think on the technical subjects. They are looking for your ability to have an eye for detail. अगर आपको किसी क्वेश्चंस को रिप्लाई करने में हिंट्स दे रहे हैं, हाउ क्विक आर यू एबल टू कैच ऑन द हिंट्स एंड मूव फॉरवर्ड इन द पॉजिटिव डायरेक्शन. दैट इज व्हाट दे आर रियली लुकिंग फॉर. दैट इज व्हाट दे आर रियली लुकिंग फॉर. एंड एज आई सेड, अगर 4 सब्जेक्ट्स आपने लिखे हैं तो आप ये मान के चलो कि चारों सब्जेक्ट्स ही एक एक करके वो पूछेंगे. अगर आपके सवालों के जवाब अच्छे चलने शुरू हो गए, मे बी 1 सब्जेक्ट गेट्स ओवर इन 20 minutes and then the second subject starts, then the third one, and then the fourth one. So 15 to 20 minutes on an average on every subject. Some subject may get stretched. That is the reason why I said 60 to 120 minutes. That is the basis for my giving you the average duration. But I was telling you about the past, when the travel expenses reimbursement used to be taking place the same day. One candidate went into the interview room बिल्कुल अनप्रिपेयर्ड, बिल्कुल ही अनप्रिपेयर्ड. उसका ऑब्जेक्टिव सिर्फ बॉम्बे घूमना था BARC के एक्सपेंडिचर के ऊपर. तो गया, जाते ही उसने एडमिन स्टाफ से पूछा, भैया फेयर रिम्बर्समेंट कब मिलेगा? बोला इंटरव्यू देके आओगे उसके बाद मिलेगा. अच्छा, उसके लिए क्या क्या करना है मेरे से पहले ही करवा लो. चलो जी, हो गया. इंटरव्यू देने गया, 4 सब्जेक्ट के नाम पूछे, बता दिए, चलो जो भी सवाल पूछने शुरू किए, नहीं आता नहीं आता नहीं आता. अच्छा, क्या तैयार करके आए हो? सर एक्चुअली मेरा कोई इंटरेस्ट नहीं है BARC में. तो फिर आए क्यों हो? सर मेरी शॉर्टलिस्ट हो गई थी, मैंने कहा चलो एक बार BARC का इंटरव्यू कैसे होता है देख के आते हैं. हाफ एन आवर द इंटरव्यू वाज ओवर, बट यस ही डिड गेट हिज रिम्बर्समेंट. उसका ऑब्जेक्टिव ही रिम्बर्समेंट लेना था और कोई ऑब्जेक्टिव ही नहीं था उसका. तो उस केस में आधे घंटे में इंटरव्यू खत्म हो गया. बट दैट इज एन एक्सेप्शन बिकॉज ही इज नॉट इन द रेस फॉर सिलेक्शन. बट आजकल they are not giving cash reimbursement. They are reimbursing your travel expenditure by a direct transfer to your bank account. तो इसलिए अगर आपका ऑलरेडी बैंक अकाउंट नहीं है तो आप अभी खोल लीजिए, so that you have a valid bank account in your name and you have the IFSC code and the MICR code for the account which has been opened by you. They will not transfer the money to your parents' account. It will be transferred only to your account, to the name, in the name of the candidate only. So if you don't have an account, please open one immediately, right? So 4 subjects, we'll try to take a look at which four subjects can be preferred to be chosen by you. We'll look at it one by one for each of the branches. But before that, अगर उन्होंने पूछ लिया कि चलो बेटा अपने बारे में हमें कुछ बताओ, तो मैं पूरा एक बार डिस्प्ले कर देता हूं. Your schooling followed by a degree, year of passing, but इसको बहुत elongate करने के बोलने की जरूरत नहीं है. In one sentence you simply talk about your schooling, no names, no percentage in 10th and 12th, nothing. Like if I were to tell you about my introduction, sir, after completing my schooling from my hometown which is Delhi, I joined Delhi College of Engineering to pursue my BSc Electrical and Electronics Engineering. Sir, I completed my graduation in the year 1976 with a aggregate percentage of 82.75. Sir, I was a merit scholar throughout my school and college education. इसके अलावा मैंने कुछ भी नहीं बोला. उसके बाद टाइटल ऑफ द प्रोजेक्ट, उसके बाद समर इंटर्नशिप. देयर वर 2 इंटर्नशिप, one was 6 week long, one was 5 months long. That's it. आप ये मत सोचना कि आपको पूरी इंट्रोडक्शन देने का मौका मिलेगा. नो. लेट मी मार्क no importance at all. No importance whatsoever for these. So even if you don't mention it, it's immaterial. If you have work experience, you can tell, sir, I have worked in such and such company for 3 years before stopping to work and start preparing for competitive exams once again. अगर applicable है आपके लिए तो जबरदस्ती में एक्सपीरियंस के बारे में नहीं बोलना. फेक नॉलेज कोई भी नहीं शेयर करनी. They will rarely ask you about strengths and weaknesses. If they ask you, yes, you can tell what are your strengths. But don't say, sir, I am hardworking, I am honest, I am punctual, I am dedicated. वो तो सारे ही होते हैं. कौन कहेगा मैं punctual नहीं हूं? कौन कहेगा मैं आलसी हूं? कोई बोलेगा कभी? Never. You can say, sir, I am a team player and I have problem solving skills. कहां से आ गई तुम्हारे में प्रॉब्लम सॉल्विंग स्किल्स और कहां कैसे तुम बोल रहे हो कि टीम प्लेयर हो? Your final year BTech project was a group effort. Na? There were 4 members in the group and you worked together to complete the project. आपके प्रोजेक्ट गाइड ने तो नहीं ना आपकी उंगली पकड़ के आपको हर स्टेप पे गाइड किया, नेवर. सो प्रॉब्लम सॉल्विंग स्किल्स वहां से आ गया, तो मिल के काम किया तो टीम वर्किंग आ गई. आप कोई स्पोर्ट्स खेल से थे तो दैट ऑल्सो गिव्स यू द क्रेडिट ऑफ बीइंग अ टीम प्लेयर, राइट. बट द पॉइंट इज इट इज वेरी लेस इंपॉर्टेंट. और गलती से भी अपने साथ अपनी प्रोजेक्ट रिपोर्ट लेके मत चले जाना. सम पीपल आस्क मी, sir, should I carry my project report with me? Should I carry my training report with me? Never make the mistake of carrying it with you to the interview room. In the interview room, only the document folder will go, which will have the essential documents which they have asked you to bring at the time of the interview. I'll detail out these things in another session which I'll be conducting maybe next week, right? But that's it. When we talk about family, it's just the occupation of your parents, nothing else, no details. And don't try to gain any sympathy by way of, sir, I am from a village background or anything of that sort. They are not concerned. They will not bother about it. One by one, we will take a look at the preferred subjects. SOM for mechanical as well as civil is very important. And again, start from the basics. The other subject that you can pick up can be fluid mechanics and machinery. And when we talk about machinery, obviously pumps and compressors, steam turbine becomes a very critical factor. They can get into details about the design of steam, design of turbines. So be very thorough, be very thorough. Machine design or theory of machines can be picked up. Thermodynamics and heat transfer, I'll put it at a higher preference. Material science is definitely a subject that you can choose. I'll not say no to it, but there is a rider. There is a rider. Be very thorough with material science. Only then you pick up material science as a subject. Production related subjects may not be very important. May not be very important. But there is one more subject that you can choose. Power plant equipment, if nothing else is possible, but you can definitely choose engineering mechanics. SOM cannot be left. FM mechanics as well as machinery can be 2 subjects. If you want, you can specify fluid mechanics only or fluid machinery only. दोनों में से जैसे भी करो. इन दोनों में से एक कर सकते हो. Thermodynamics and heat transfer, again important. Don't say HMT because you don't study mass transfer. That is a part of the chemical engineering or that's a part of the post graduation course curriculum. And engineering mechanics is definitely a subject that can be stated. And material science, as I said, is something which you should consider conveying only if you are really very good with material science. In other words, Callister's book must be very thorough with you. In that situation, yes, please feel free to go for material science. They will be very happy to grill you on that, right? Subjects for civil, SOM is obviously very important. Soil mechanics or geotech can be picked up. Structural analysis can be picked up. The point is, any of these subjects, avoid these. Avoid these. Avoid these. Why avoid these? Because there is no relevance of these subjects in BARC. There is no relevance in BARC. But suppose you have done your masters in transportation engineering. Yes, there can be 2 aspects to transportation. One aspect is planning, the other aspect is construction. So yes, you can highlight on the construction part of it. Definitely that can be done. CPM, for which they are also accepting a postgraduate course, can also be stated as a subject that you have prepared, right? So choice of subjects for civil engineers is pretty high. Even environmental science can be chosen as a subject, right? So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, environment is already written, 8, 9. So out of 9 you have to choose 4. You have a fairly good variety, good option available to you. You can make a choice. Instrumentation, process control instrumentation, sensors and transducers. This is one area where they devote a lot of time. They really devote a lot of time in practically every candidate shortlisted for instrumentation. Control systems, measurements, yes, they can be chosen. PID diagram more as a concept, network theory as a subject. This is important. This is important, right? And in fact, there is a book available on the internet. You can download it if you want. The title of the book is Lessons in Industrial Instrumentation, not engineering, but instrumentation, by Tony Kupfalt. It's available in the PDF drive. It's available on the pdfdrive.com. You can download it. It's a thick fat book. 3200 pages is the latest edition, but don't have to go through every single page. No. Pick up the chapter which you want to work on. That's it. It's kind of de facto the Bible for instrumentation. Anything and everything related to instrumentation is very thoroughly covered here, right? Go through it if you want, and in case you are not able to spot it, I will help you with finding it. For electronics, you can choose analog electronics, digital electronics, communication engineering, analog or digital, and also signal systems, control systems, EMT, EDC. This is in reducing order. Of course, EDC can be going up also. EDC can be going up also, right? Engineering mathematics can be one of the 4 subjects. For EC candidates, yes, you can opt for engineering mathematics also, right? But again, starting from beginning and then moving up. For electrical engineering, machines is a must prepare, transformers, AC DC machines, power electronics, control systems and power systems. Focus on protection equipment, stability and harmonics. And if you want to drop any of these, then obviously the other choices would be measurements or analog electronics or EMT in that sequence, right? Maybe network could be included. Okay. For computer science, the requirement is more system programming oriented. Operating systems, data structures and algorithms, discrete mathematics, a very important subject here, computer organization, networking, particularly security, right? DBMS not so important, DBMS not so important. AI and machine learning, if you had it as a subject in your course curriculum, if you had a subject in your course curriculum, right? So this can be the choice. I don't know whether you are aware or not, but the BARC Computer Science Lab has been responsible for creating India's first mini computer. It was numbered TDC 312. It was a 12-bit computer, and TDC, the full form is Trombay Digital Computer. Trombay is the place where the BARC is located, and the Digital Electronics Lab, the Digital Computer Lab had designed it. So therefore, TDC 312, third generation 12-bit computer. The production is done in ECIL. ECIL is the production arm for any equipment which is used by any of our nuclear power plants, right? Then it got to 16-bit, 316, and then finally 32-bit, not commercially available, but they are all part of the control equipment for nuclear power plants in use, right? The current director of BARC, just for your knowledge, is Mr. Vivek Bhasin. I think he is from the instrumentation stream. He took over as the director of BARC on the 15th of September 2023, and he has been continuing. Of course, the founder director of BARC was Dr. Homi Jahangir Bhabha. He is the father of atomic energy in India, and then of course we have been having people from time to time. 3 to 5 years is the average tenure as the head of the institution, right? The possible postings, the head office is obviously Mumbai, Bhabha Atomic Research Center, Anushakti Nagar. Then you can be posted to IGCAR in Kalapakkam, which is Tamil Nadu, Rajaramana Center for Advanced Technology, which is Indore, then the Variable Energy Cyclone Center in Kolkata. That was again there are one or two candidates, one or two of our students who are posted to this VECC. Heavy Water Board is again in Mumbai, Nuclear Fuel Complex is in Hyderabad. Point is, any of these places can be in, you can be posted, and the last one obviously is the main center for civil engineers, but as civil engineers you can be posted to any location, right. Well, that's about it. Please make a note of my email ID in case you have any queries. See, what we are going to do is, we are going to be putting a Google form, we will put it on in various Telegram groups. Please fill up the particulars in that, so that I can keep sharing useful inputs with you from time to time related to the interview process at BARC. Some feedbacks that we get from the students that can be shared with you, and so on, right. Feel free to write, there is absolutely no problem. We are going to be offering an interview guidance program wherein we will be conducting one online mock interview. There will be subject specific lectures. There are 8 or 9 lectures for each stream, but these are not the lectures which are tailor made for BARC interview. No, don't be under the impression that these lectures are only for BARC. No, these lectures are basically giving you an opportunity of a quick revision of the subject by way of this 2 or 3 hour long lecture. It gives you a bird's eye view of the areas which you need to be preparing, right. In addition to that, we will also try, I am using the word, we will try to have interaction with some of the past students who are working with BARC, so that you can get the benefit of their experience. Some orientation session, roughly one for each branch we will have, so that you can get a good idea about how the process of interview really proceeds. I will try to give you an example. Say for example, see, if I just as an example, suppose you are asked, you said circuits, okay, I started asking you about half wave rectifier, alright, you made the circuit diagram for a half wave rectifier, then full wave, the difference between half wave and full wave, what is the difference in the specifications of the diode which are used in this rectifier. Then we are talking about the bridge rectifier, comparison of full wave versus bridge, the comparison of the ripple factor, comparison of the efficiencies, comparison of the difference in the copper saving by way of the transformer which is used for full wave or half wave. This is not identical, is it not? The idea is that you keep moving from the very simple, that is a simple diode, to making it a complex circuitry. Then there could be discussion going in the direction of the design of filters. The reason is that whenever you are doing whenever you are doing a rectification, obviously there is a ripple factor involved. To smoothen out the output waveform, you are making use of filters. In the simplest form, you can have a capacitor filter, but then to make it more effective, you are having LC filters. What kind of design criteria for LC filters? Now, it's just giving a simple example. Same way, for example, your subject is SOM, okay, a simply supported beam. Then you apply a load which is to begin with it at the center. Then you are applying, instead of one load, you are applying at 2 different places, both equidistant from the ends. Then there can be a third parameter coming in. You have one more support coming exactly in the middle, and you are removing. Then you move on to the cantilever design. Idea is again starting from a very simple and moving on to the complex. There could be, you may be asked to draw the different forces, identify the different forces in a hanging metal, right, clearly indicating that you need to have an in-depth knowledge of the basic concepts, and then moving on to become more and more difficult. I still remember when we were talking about engineering mechanics, Timoshenko and Young used to be the de facto standard, even though we as students used to be following the book written by Saluja, but our professor, he always used to recommend Timoshenko and Young only, no other book is permitted. Yes, it covers exhaustively, no doubt, but unless you have the clear concept, you will not be able to proceed. All right, let me see some more messages which are there. Okay, subjects I have already talked about. Yes, Amit says that agar research paper ho to any weightage, yes, you can mention it. You can mention it in the biodata form which they will ask you to fill up when you go to the interview, right? Dress for girls I have already covered. Will employees get reimbursement? Employees where? If you are working in BARC, well, if you are working in BARC and you are going from Bombay to Bombay, where is the question of any reimbursement, dear? Yes, Prachi, we will be offering mock interviews. There will be online mock interviews. Documents you are supposed to carry for the interview day. There is a standard list of documents which I will share once I have your email IDs. Then at that time I will be sending a list of possible documents. But in case any of you has already downloaded the call letter, but call letter you might not be able to download unless you book your slot. Yes, some anxiety about when should I book my interview slot. Book it on any day. Don't wait for the last day or the first day. No, any day is good enough. Don't think that the competition will decrease if you book it early, if you book the last days or the early days. No. Book in a manner that it does not clash with any of your other activities. The days of the interview are always Monday to Friday. I don't think they are giving you the slots on Saturdays and Sundays. Monday to Friday are the days for the slots. Morning or afternoon are the two options that you will be getting, and do it on that form. Guest house accommodation, as I said, is available on a first come first serve basis. Amit, you can just send me the details by mail. I will try to give you the list. You already have my email ID. I hope you have noted down my email ID. It is dkarora@madeasy.in. Right? Any questions that you may have, please feel free to write to me. But don't forget to give your correct details in the Google Forms that I will be sharing with you. Okay? Interview guidance program is available. Obviously, it's available on a paid basis. The lectures that I've talked about, you will be able to access it once you enroll for the program. Charges, please don't ask me. They are all the details are available on the website and in the Telegram groups. You can take a look at it. And there is one more number that you can note. If you want to have if you have any queries with regard to fixing of the mock interview or anything of that sort, you must remember the number that you can call on is 8800782323. Call on this number for any details. This number is not available for making any calls. I don't pick up any calls. You can send a message on the WhatsApp, that's not a problem, but I'll prefer mail so that I don't miss out on any unreplied mails. Right? I guess with that, MS project from IIT. Shubham, your question is not clear. Can you be a little more elaborate? Are you trying to say that if you are doing your MS from IIT, the project work during MS, yes, you can talk about it. There can be questions, but as I said, on project there will be less questions. BARC interview clashing with NPCL, I don't think that is possible. The reason is that NPCL has already given the schedule of dates. If you allow me, let me check what will be the dates of interview. They have very clearly spelled out the dates for the interview. Let me see. Let me just see. If you just give me a moment, I will look at the advertisement of NPCL. I'm just looking. Interview schedule and venue. Yes, the interviews of NPCIL are from 9th to 21st June. I'll write here. This is the schedule of interviews for NPCIL. So please make sure that you are booking a slot which is earlier than 9th of June, so that it does not clash with you, because change of the date of interview is not likely to be permitted, and NPCIL interview can be at any of the centers. Usually what they do is, for specific branches they allocate centers. That is how NPCIL is deciding, right? Well, if they ask you whether I will join ESE or I will continue in BARC, you have to say, sir, I am more than keen, I am very keen to make a career in research, and that is what is for which BARC is the best opportunity that I can get. Definitely sir, I will want to continue working with BARC. That's it. और अगर आपका मान लीजिए ESE का सिलेक्शन, आपका कॉल आ भी जाता है, तो आपने BARC में किसी को बिल्कुल नहीं बताना कि आपका इंटरव्यू कॉल आया है. ओके So interview clash is ruled out, right? I hope most of your starting doubts would have been taken care by way of this discussion that we had today. I'll have one more session in the coming week. Maybe at the later part of the next week, I'll have another session where some more details I'll try to share. All right. Thank you very much. You can always write about anything that is worrying you. You can send a mail. I'll be too happy to reply it for you. Somik Samanta, the name of the book which I have already given, Tony Kupfald, Lessons in Industrial Instrumentation. That's a very comprehensive book. You can go from there. You can refer to that. Okay. I think with that we will come to the close of this session. Thank you very much. Best wishes for your preparation. The list of documents I will be able to highlight once I have a call letter from one of you. I do have the list from my previous year's inputs. I'll in the shared document folder, which I'll mail it to you once I have your email IDs, that will contain the list of documents. But in case there is any change, then I'll update it in the same, by way of the same mail. All right. Thank you very much. Wish you the very best. Work hard, get successful. Thank you.